So after calculating x bar, sigma x, y bar and sigma y. So x bar is 32.1 and sigma x is 3.44, y bar is 31.3 and sigma y is 2.84. I have listed it. I have calculated CVX and CVY, coefficient of variation of x and coefficient of variation of y. Sigma x by x bar into 100, that is 3.44 by 32.1 into 100 will give you CVX, coefficient of variation of x, that is 10.72. I have listed here. Similarly, I have found out CVY, coefficient of variation of y, that is a brand Y tires variation. Sigma y by y bar into 100. Sigma y is listed here 2.84. Y bar is 31.3 into 100. That will get you 9.07. So these two values, coefficient of variation of x, coefficient of variation of y, both are listed here. By using this table, we can come to this conclusion. If you observe, the coefficient of variation of x and coefficient of variation of y tires, the variation in the tires y, that is in the brand y, is lesser than the variation in case of x. So since the coefficient of variation of y is lesser than the coefficient of variation of x, brand y tires are more consistent than brand x tires. So consistency is always depending upon which particular brand is having lesser coefficient of variation. Whichever the brand is having lesser coefficient of variation, that will be more consistent. Hence CVY, that is coefficient of variation of y, is lesser than the coefficient of variation of x. Brand y tires will be more consistent than that of brand x.